Okay, so I am answering another question that was submitted on my anonymous form on my website, Ask Diana. So if you have any of your own questions that you want to submit, go ahead and submit those. We have a great question today, and I'm really excited about it. The question is, I am a perfectionist to the point that if I can't do it right, I won't do it at all. Any suggestions? Yes. I have a lot of suggestions and a lot of thoughts. So, first I'll take this personally. So, on a personal level, I was much the same way growing up, at least, like high school, early college. I didn't want to mess up, and I let that sort of rule my life, which means I didn't do anything, or I didn't make any progress. And that's the big piece that I want to talk about. One of the big pieces I want to talk about is if you don't work through this, you won't get anywhere, pretty much. Because you have to fail, and you have to go through the uncomfortable spots to get anywhere, right? We're not perfect at anything naturally. Well, some people are, but most people aren't, right? You have to go through the pain and the practice and the awkward and the uncomfortable to get anywhere at all, period, right? You have to become comfortable with failure to get anywhere. And that is a big piece. So first I'm going to talk kind of about how important that is and why, and then we'll talk about kind of how to sort of deal with some of the perfectionist stuff. So, I think I dealt with it in a lot of different ways. I've had this thought actually come up lately, which is why I'm so glad that you asked this question, because I love to dance salsa. Okay, I love it. It's one of the things that I love. That's how I connect with a lot of people and really great communities. I love to travel and check out different salsa spots and see the cultural influence and how it changes. I just love it. It's one of my obsessions. But I've been thinking about this lately because I've started to introduce more and more people to salsa. So my friends will come with me, my sisters come with me, and people have a lot of issues come up when they dance. And usually it's I don't know how to do this. It's the fear. It's I don't want to look stupid. I even had a friend say to me last week, I think I'm just going to take lessons by myself, and then when I'm good and when I'm perfect, I'll come out and dance. And I realized that I used to be that way as well. So bear with me in my salsa analogies here. I used to be like that as well. But working through that is one of the reasons I have found so much joy in salsa. So I spent the last couple of months in Colombia, and one of my friends was able to come out with me a lot and sort of dance with me and kind of try a little more dancing. And they said, I've never seen you as happy as you are when you're dancing. Yeah, and even when you make a mistake, it seems like there is so much joy, and it doesn't matter that you made a mistake, you just love being out there. And that is so true for me. So that couldn't be more true for me, but that's not always how it was. And there was a point when I was going out and I wasn't very good and I was struggling, and there's always that point of like, I can't do this is too embarrassing, I'm not good enough, I'm not going to go. And that's the point where you can either run away from that fear or you can lean in. And for me, I was able to lean in enough that now I love it. I don't care that I mess up and I totally don't know, a move, or that someone who's really good tries to lead me into something and I totally go the wrong way. I don't care, because I love being out there so much, and I have accepted that you can't be perfect. You have to find joy in the journey, and that's so human and that's so beautiful. And the more you get out there and push yourself, the better you get. So now I am able to be led into all kinds of things that I never was before, and I never would have been able to if I didn't figure out how to lean in and just go with it and be okay with not being good. So that's kind of where I want to go from there. There is a lot that's underneath perfectionism, and a lot of it comes from the messages that we receive when we're little. So if you were a client in therapy, that may be kind of some of the places that I go. I would look at your negative self-talk, the things that come up in your head when you try something new, and maybe that voice comes that's like, oh man, you suck, like you can't do this, all those voices. I would maybe give you some exercises that would help you work through some of that and start challenging those voices and look at where those come from. And typically when we do that, we get into the beliefs, the bigger beliefs and the bigger expectations. That's what's really interesting about this. So if we start examining your self-talk that comes up, your negative self-talk that says, you can't do this, why are you even trying? And then you quit, like you said, right? This question that was asked was, if you can't do it, you'll just quit. And those voices are telling you to quit. So if we examine those, there's all these questions, all of these negative thoughts, and over them is this expectation. And one of the most common expectations for yourself is that you have to be perfect, okay? That is one of the ones that comes up most often, and that's the overarching expectation that you're holding for yourself, that all this negativity and self-talk and self-belief and self-esteem issues, all of that's underneath that. So it's so helpful to look at all of this and then start challenging all of it. And the belief that we have to challenge is the perfection belief. The belief that I have to be perfect, because that is completely setting you up for failure. And that's exactly what you don't want, but you're creating, right? So if we step back and look at this, it doesn't make any sense, and it is not helpful for us, okay? But it's really common in women especially to have this belief and to always be not meeting it and to always feel bad about ourselves. So that's why I'm so excited about this question, because this, I think, is one of the things that personally for me, being able to be comfortable with failure and with looking stupid and with the awkward things in life, that has gotten me to where I am now. Because now I am confident enough in myself to be able to go to those places where growth can really happen. And I really love helping people create this for themselves. And that is actually one of the reasons that I created one of my programs. And this activity that I briefly shared, the going through negative self-talk activity, challenging all of our negative self-talk, looking at our beliefs, all of that stuff is actually in that program. And the program is about creating happiness and working through all of the barriers that hold us up, all those issues that we have. So it really is about creating real self-esteem, real happiness, and real motivation, and working through all the barriers that are in the way of that. So this is one of the things I'm really passionate about. But I would say examine why you have that perfectionist idea, where it comes from. That's a really interesting exercise, figuring out where it comes from, why you have that, where it started, whose voices are there, holding those beliefs for you, and how you're holding them up for yourself now, and really challenging those, really looking at them and saying, okay, these are my beliefs, this is where they come from, and this is why they're not true. This is why they're not true. This is why I have to challenge them. And the more we do that, the more we change those beliefs, right? So we want to get to the place where when those thoughts and beliefs come up, we challenge them. We look at them and we're like, oh, nope, that's that expectation that I am perfect, and that's not good for me, and that's not true. These are the statements that I've created to challenge that. Then you challenge it, and it goes away. And maybe it'll keep coming up for a while, But the idea is that over time it comes up less and it's easier to challenge. And eventually, where I'm at now, it rarely comes up, and when it does, I can easily challenge it. And when it comes up, I sort of know that it's going to come up because I'm trying something totally new and totally out of my element, right? So I'm trying like a new class where I know I'm going to be the only one who has no idea what they're doing, and I know those kind of negative thoughts are going to come up, and I know how to kind of prep for them. But eventually you can work through it, okay? Now, wanting to be the best you can be is really good. That's a really good thing. You want to be the best you can be. You want to master things. That's great. Those are great things. And you can get there, not perfect, but really solid and really great if you learn to do the uncomfortable piece and be okay with that. And there's so much learning and growth and cool things that can happen in this journey. So start to examine that. If you guys are interested in the course that I mentioned, let me know. I'll send you more information on that. I'm also happy to send you some little pieces of the exercises that I mentioned. So if you want a working through negative self-talk worksheet, send me an email, let me know, and I will send that out to you guys. I'm happy to do that. I think it's so helpful, and I love sharing these because I know how huge they are and how big they will be for you and how big they've been for me. So let me know if you're interested in any of those things, and just know that this is not something that's solved overnight. I mean, none of these questions are, right, that you guys ask. If they would have been easy, you would have already solved them and moved on. These are really complicated questions, and they're going to take time to work through. But you can start now, and you can start working through it, and you can make so much progress on these. But it takes work, and it takes continued work and continued examination to all of this. So comment with your thoughts. Message me if you have questions. Submit your questions on Ask Diana. Shoot me a message if you want any of the worksheets that I mentioned, and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to try to keep putting out content that you guys want and you guys like. So let me know what's helpful, because that's the whole point of this. I want it to be helpful, and I want you to feel like you get something out of it. So with that, I will leave you for today, and I hope everyone has a great day. And again, let me know if you need anything.